Hello, and this is Manda, and I'm here with Kim Wymer. Hi, Kim. Good to see you.
Hello, Manda. Lovely to see you. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very, very welcome. So I'm doing a mini series, as you know, on manifestation. And I know that you've manifested things in your life, and I thought you'd have some interesting stories to tell. So how do you feel about that as a conversation for today?
Yeah, excellent. I have manifested quite a few things in my life. So yeah, I'll be
Brilliant.
interested.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, Kim, then. How did you come? Because you've written a book called Out of the Shadows, and you wrote that in 2015. So tell us a little bit about how you came to be in that position of writing the book, and how, what your message is really with the book.
Okay, so my book, it's called Out of the Shadows. It's this one, and it wasn't actually going to be a book. It was my personal diary. It was kind of like my therapy in the beginning, because over 10 years ago I had a massive life crash, and everything was chaotic in my life. My mindset especially, and that's where it all started, and I didn't even realize it was that. And I'd gone through some like a difficult marriage. I'd been dishonest in my life. I hold my hands up to that. I've done things wrong. I was a master manifester at attracting negative stuff to myself. And I had a drinking problem as well. So, the alcohol was a big part of my life. And I didn't understand, and I just basically didn't want to be on this earth anymore back then. And then all of a sudden one day, I remember really moping, really feeling hungover, and my children were teenagers. My sister, who had emigrated to Australia, she sent me a DVD called The Secret. We've all heard of The Secret, yeah, and that was the start of it. And I watched this DVD, and it blew my mind. And I thought, what has she sent me here? I'd never heard of all this before. What is this made up? And she told me it was a scientific documentary, and it changed her life, and I should really look into it. So I did. But first of all, I had to get off of the drinking, and that was the most difficult part. The drinking was stopping my focus. I couldn't focus properly on anything. I was like watching the film a couple of times, and then I knew that I had to look into positive thinking, but I basically couldn't even focus on a whole sentence and remember what it said, because my mind was a blur back then. And that was the start of it, really, because I thought, oh my God, I've got to change my life. If this documentary is real and true, and it's science of the mind, I need to change myself. I need to change my life. So I basically I found a coach, a mindset coach. Now, 10 years ago, that wasn't big, looking for coaches, looking for people to help you. Coaches weren't really spoken about, especially not in my world. And I found this coach who specialized in positivity. And how I found my coach was, I was Googling positive thinking, and this lady's picture came up. She'd written a book about positivity, and she resembled my sister, who lived in Australia. Now, I didn't realize at the time, but that was the law of attraction in itself happening there, because I clung on to that book. I read that lady's book, and she ended up becoming my coach. She taught me really simple tools and techniques. I went on her course. She taught me all the simple tools and techniques that we know about. And once I started to get off of the drinking as well and wean myself gradually off of that, things started to change in my life. It was like miraculous. And I thought, you can't make this stuff up. The things that was happening, you cannot make this up. Things were freaking me out. Things that were like basically happening. So wow. I started to take note of the things that was happening. I started to write it all down. And then I had this idea that popped into my head. I should write everything down, and I should take myself back to when as young as I can remember, and start writing about my childhood. Why? How have I got to this stage in my life? What happened? What had I been thinking? And I just basically wanted to know. And I sort of like stripped it back and took it right back to the beginning. That was the start of it, really. Starting to record what I could remember. And it was my therapy, Manda. Mm-hmm. It was like I was pouring my heart out onto these pages, and I was addicted to writing where I'd never done that in my life, you know. I was like addicted to writing the story of life. Yeah. And it just started coming out so easily.
Wow. So you said that obviously the secret kicked it all off, and I'm just really touched that your sister sent that to you, because many people in their lives haven't got someone in their family who would give them that nudge towards something really powerful and important, because people are unaware. But for you, you were very blessed in that regard. And it sounds like you had a series of miraculous, I think was the word you said, things that happened, synchronistic coincidences, serendipity, whatever you want to call it. What was the most dramatic of those, would you say?
In the beginning, I did write a few little things that was happening in the beginning. Like I used to paint furniture. And I used to sort of like paint children's murals on the children's bedroom walls. I used to do all that kind of stuff, other than my other muggles job that I had as well. I was doing all sorts of things. And I had a car, but I needed a van, you know. And one of the stories in the book is how I miraculously attracted my beautiful, massive van to myself. You know, it just happened so beautifully. It just, as we said, you know, it synchronized into place. It all slotted lovely into place. I wrote about it in the book as well. And it was just like, this is just like, you can't make this up, how it was happening. You know, I started to get over the self-doubt and have more confidence in myself. Because when things go your way because you're a positive thinker, you sort of like, it's like a rollerball, and you want to do more, and you want to study more, and you want to tell everyone about it. You know, so it started like that. So the biggest thing in the beginning was attracting my beautiful van. So I was a lady van driver. It was great.
Fantastic. So, I mean, with the book, what is it that you're hoping that other people get from it when they read it?
Okay, so it's like letting all the skeletons out of the cupboard, really. It's like right down to the bare bones. It's truthful, it's honest, it's raw. Okay, telling the honest truth, because always I'd been really introvert, really quiet, didn't speak up, you know, didn't have a voice, scared of the world, fearful of everything. And it helped me to open up. Yeah, you know, and realize I've got to say stuff, I've got to speak up, I've got to stand up for myself, I've got to change, really, and take action. And you know, I'm human, I make mistakes, I've done things wrong. As I said, I had a degree in doing things wrong, and learning by those experiences as well. And I think that's the biggest lesson, or the biggest message in the book. And it's basically me turning my mindset around from negative to positive. So it's a book of change, really, like a personal transformation. That now, if I can do this, what I do now, I believe from how I was is like a big turnaround. If I can do what I do now, then I believe anyone in the whole universe could do anything they want to do. So the book is really a huge message of hope and possibility for the people, to inspire them. Yes, a book of inspiration, if you like, or motivation, to motivate people to know that they can change. And you know, we can change ourselves as people and come out of our shell. You know.
And I mean, you said that it was the secret that first started you on this path. That was about 10 years ago, when you were in a really bad way. You'd had the marriage difficulties, you had teenage children, life was difficult, and the drinking problem. And I'm sure I'm not sure actually, you almost made it sound easy to change the drinking habit. How did that even happen? Because that's a big
that was a big one. That was the main thing. I basically think, in my mind, in the background, I used to work in a supermarket as well, and I had to be there in a certain department because I'd worked all over different departments, but I had to be there at 5 a.m. in the morning. That was difficult, okay? And I had a drinking problem. So I was going to bed really early, like drinking once the children got home from school. I was having a drink once they'd got home, going to bed early, you know, letting them really deal with themselves. And because I had to sort of like basically get up at 3:30 in the morning. That was really, really difficult to do that. And I did it for quite a few years, you know, thinking, oh, no one knows, but they must have smelt it on my breath, you know, they must have talked about me in work. where I worked in that supermarket. And basically, I knew I had to change. I knew I had to get myself off of it. I didn't know how to. So I started Googling, what does alcohol do to your body?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, we all love a drop of wine. We all drink wine, you know, have a glass of red, or I don't anymore. Yeah, because I started to realize what it basically does to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and there's all sorts of stuff it can do to you. I lost a family member because they had a drinking problem. I've got family members now who've got drinking problems, and I can just see what they're going through, and I really want to help them, but I can't, because it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
You know, you have to really want to do it. And I really wanted to change my life, and it was difficult. And it took me months and months and months to wean myself off of that, Manda.
Mm.
And I wasn't even socializing because I was scared that I'll be tempted to have a drink again if I'm going to go to a social event or a wedding, a party, anything like that, you know. But I had to discipline myself, basically, and it wasn't easy. So I'd go there, and when I got the craving, I'd want to leave.
Yeah.
And distract myself. But
and
over
that's
time,
what you did.
yeah,
Was it the
and over
distraction
time,
helped?
yes, distraction helps.
Mm.
Okay. So yeah, I did go on another little tangent of eating the wrong food, because it was like habits that, as human beings, you know, we seem to cling on to habits. So if it wasn't, I don't know, doing the same thing every day or grabbing onto the drinking, it was like, what else can I do for the habit, you know? So I had to get the binge in with the food as well, and go out on my bike, because I couldn't run or jog because I was overweight then as well. So I had to go out on my bike, and I found the forest. So that was a positive. So I'm loving your background. Found the forest.
Found the forest near me.
Yes.
It's lovely.
Beautiful. Yeah, so I had to find another habit, which was trying to exercise. So it's like gradually weaning off of one thing to get onto another thing, but finding the right things to do for your own health in your mind, body and soul, I suppose. Yeah.
And if you hadn't come across The Secret and the Law of Attraction, which at the time you made it sound like that was kind of a bit of nonsense to you, really, it didn't make any sense. But once you got exposed to it, it really resonated. If you hadn't have come across that, you may not have had that impetus to make these huge changes.
I may not have had. I mean, who knows what would have happened? I probably would have been still working in the supermarket, painting people's furniture and bedroom walls, or I don't know what I might have done. I really can't imagine what I would have done. I'm so grateful that it came into my life at the right time. I think I was asking the universe, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing in this life? Because I haven't got a clue. I didn't have any goals or any purpose. Didn't know why I was here. And my children basically kept me going.
Yeah.
You know? So I think that it came into my life at the right time, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah. And that's such a common experience for so many women, isn't it? That their children keep them going. They kind of lose themselves, or they fall back on the more damaged parts of themselves, the parts that need propping up. And they replace one addiction with another, you know, and you started to, in the end, after going through the food as well, you started to then replace it with perhaps some biking on trails, and you said you were even addicted to writing out your miracles that were happening for the book. That became almost like, so having that distraction and alternative stuff coming in was so important. But it sounds like even though The Secret sort of took you by surprise, you were manifesting that anyway, because you were asking the universe, okay, I need the next thing to help me now.
Yeah.
You're already in that manifest. When do you think was the first time in your life you ever remember manifesting something, Kim? Like even going way back.
Well, as I said, I manifested my my van.
Yeah.
What else? I've manifested amazing people, because once you start to go down the coaching route, I really wanted to get away from my supermarket job. I really wanted to get away from the painting and decorating that I used to do. Because it was becoming hard work as I was getting older, and I thought I'd love to go down the coaching route even more. And my biggest goal back then was getting on stage and speaking and inspiring people and giving motivational talks. And I used to imagine and I used to visualize wouldn't that be amazing to be able to do that, you know, with me, no voice, you know, procrastinating queen. Wouldn't that be amazing? And I actually did achieve that, Manda, quite a few times. It took time. Again, nothing happens overnight, but I was determined and I wouldn't let go. And I attracted the right people to help me to get to that stage in life, because it's all that was on my mind.
So you were you had a really clear vision of that. I want to be on a stage speaking to people. And I've watched some of your YouTube videos and I've seen you on a stage with a podium giving an inspirational speech.
It came, it happened, manifested it. I've manifested some amazing things in my life. I'd always been an animal lover as well, and I love art. I did art at school. I got an O level. I'm old school, so it used to be called an O level. So I got an O level in school in art, but I didn't do anything with it. As I got older and started to realise we all have this potential to do and attract what we want, because we are the manifestors. We are the creators. Oh my God, our powers are amazing. I attracted the right people that helped me to get my book out there, because I didn't have a clue. You know, I'm not being a techie person. I'd always loved animals, and I attracted a horse to myself.
Oh, wow.
And I know. I wrote about it. It's going to be in my second book, okay? But a friend of mine, her daughter bought a horse, and I just commented on Facebook, oh my God, he's lovely. So she said, why don't you come down and meet him? And that's how it started. Okay, so I didn't think at the time. I did, because I'd always wanted one, but no one bought me one. My ex-husband didn't buy me one. My dad didn't. I didn't buy myself one. I didn't live in the right environment. I didn't believe I could have one. So I went down these stables every single weekend to see this young girl's horse for 3 months, Manda. And for 3 months, my vibe was through the roof with excitement. Yeah. So this is the key, keeping the high vibes to attract what you do want. Yeah. So this is why it's important to think in a positive way, and to be grateful for what you've got in the now, and act as if you've already got it. And driving to the stables every weekend gave me such a buzz with excitement. That's why I believe that I attracted the horse to myself, because the young girl got pregnant. She couldn't afford to look after the horse anymore. And she said to me, Kim, seeing as you're down the stable so much, do you want him?
Wow.
I didn't buy him. Okay. She wasn't saying, hey, you can buy him off of me. She gave me her horse. Right. So that was miraculous. I've had miraculous things happen. And this is how I attracted my car. Okay. I didn't buy my car. I attracted it to myself. It was a gift, because I use all the simple tools and all the simple techniques and put them all together and use them and stick to that and keep the vibes high. This is the important thing. This is the message I've got. The more grateful we are, the more excited we feel. Yeah. And the less self-doubt we've got, the more confidence we've got. It's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. But the more we can do that, we're going to attract, you know, what we want.
It's incredible to hear that story. And as you're telling me the story about yourself going down to visit that horse every single day for 3 months, I can feel the excitement. I can imagine you doing it. It's a really clear kind of energetic imprint, if you like, isn't it? Or something of that kind. I don't know. Which they do say, don't they, that one of the secrets of manifesting is to behave and act as though it's already happened, because otherwise you're coming from a position of lack. So even though in reality, in our sense of reality, during those 3 months you did not in fact have a horse, you were living life as though, to all intents and purposes, yes you did, because you kind of did.
Yes.
Even when you were going down, he wasn't yours, you were still behaving exactly as you would have if he was yours.
Yes, exactly. Because I didn't keep him where I was living. I was actually visiting where he was being kept at the livery.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it was acted. It was the feeling of excitement that was like, oh my God, you know, most expensive hobby in the world.
Yeah. And that would push a lot of people off, wouldn't it? I mean, lots of young girls have a dream of a horse, and you know, the parents are just like, that ain't ever happening. And so they have these internalized ideas that a horse is out of the realms of possibility. And you may have had those at some point during your life, but
yes, definitely.
You overcame them, you surpassed them, and you
Yeah.
moved into that high vibe that you say, as though you had a horse. And hey, how can the universe fail to meet that human essence, that with the reality straight back at you, kind of
I
thing.
know. Yeah, I know. And it's the belief system as well, Manda, that's the big thing. It's believing that you can do that, you can have that, you can be that. It's the belief, because if there is no belief there, then it's not going to happen. And as Bruce Lipton says, you know, the biology of belief, that was a big eye opener for me to, you know, to look into that as well. So it's all about your self-belief, believing in yourself, and believing that you can do it. And obviously I have got other goals as well, which are a lot bigger. So it's gradually, you know, it's learning. It's going to take time to get the belief that it can actually happen, you know.
So you're advising people who are interested in making their dreams come true, like you have, to raise their vibration, live as though it's happening, and take action, not just kind of dream about it like it's happening, but take action in the real world. The other thing you said was about the gratitude and appreciation. That also will help to raise the vibration, but also to do something to challenge any beliefs that are blocking you. Because it sounds like maybe all that you went through and the way that you recovered it all with the alcohol and changing your life somehow rejigged your beliefs or tipped them all upside down so that you could start afresh with some new beliefs.
Yes, exactly. I had no belief in anything being brought up as a child. We didn't believe in anything. You know, didn't believe in any religion, or wasn't brought up with God or churches. There was nothing. You know, and it was like actually negative programming. Oh, you ain't gonna have nothing unless you. I mean, I was dragged up in the East End of London, as you can tell by my lovely posh voice.
I love it.
You know, but we were told you can't have nothing unless you work really hard. It's not gonna happen. You're never gonna get hold. How are you gonna do that? You know, we was always told that, and you're never going to get anywhere. And I listened to my parents say, oh, we always get the bad luck, it never goes right. And it's your programming, you know. And I had to break free from my carers and my parents and my family programming and start to believe in what I wanted to believe in. That's the thing, the cutting away from other people's beliefs. And people still say, oh, well, how are you going to do that? I can't see you doing that. Well, I'll say to them, that's not in my belief system, that you can't see me doing that. I can see me doing it because that's in my belief system. Now tell me some good news, you know? So it's switching it around to the positive all of the time, because there will be naysayers. There will be.
Do you think that's what stops most people then, to get to the point of being a better expression of themselves, or to get to the point of attracting the things that they want, that they simply are too pre-programmed and don't quite believe they can break out of it, and they maybe don't even realize how pre-programmed they are?
There are definitely people like that who will influence your decisions in life. Definitely, and make you think twice. And then you'll go, yeah, maybe they're right, and then you'll step back. But you have to be strong. You have to cut that off and live in your own bubble of positive energy and tell yourself, I can do this. I can. And you know you can, because you've done it in the past. You know, you're still here. You've done things in the past that you're proud of. You've made your achievements. Look back at your achievements, you know, and see how far you've come with your own self-belief, and make that stronger by using the tools and techniques. So there's definitely Debbie doubters and naysayers that's going to hold you back.
Yeah, and it's too easy to fall for what they say, isn't it? And to fall into that believing alongside with them. Yeah,
I'm afraid so. But as I say, we have to be strong, and we have to stay in our own positive bubble of belief.
Yeah. I think, it's wonderful advice for people listening. There are so many elements, as you say, to the making the cake, if you like, of the manifesting, you know, the manifesting cake, putting it all together, so many bits and pieces that need to be potentially stuck to. And I suppose for you, the 3 months of waiting for a horse to manifest, even though you weren't probably actively waiting for it to happen, you were just in the moment with the horse. For many people might feel like too long, and maybe they'd get disheartened, lose faith. But for you, because it was such a passion, you didn't even notice that time, I suppose, really.
No, it went so quickly. And this is the thing as well, not giving up so easily, because you might be that close to something that you want, and you'll think, no, I'm going to stop, I'm going to give it up. But no, if you want something, just keep on, keep on, keep on. It will come, they say, in divine timing. So it's keeping on, keeping that belief that you know you're going to get there. It's just going to take a certain amount of time. Maybe you've got to learn other things first before that comes in. You know, maybe you've got to take more action, and try another path if one path is not working, you know, but never, never, never give up. That's a massive quote that I always remember.
Really, yeah, it's too easy to give up because there's no guarantees as far as it's a bit like when you program a sat nav, you put in where you want to go and you fully expect it to get you there, don't you? You fully expect that destination exists and the machine knows all about it and it will tell you how to get there. But it's harder to get something like that for manifesting, isn't it? It doesn't, and I think too many people fall off the route and get diverted and distracted down a different route. And then they see that as evidence that it doesn't work, as opposed to just realizing, well, I've got these amount of ingredients and at some point they'll combine to make the perfect cake, and keeping that faith that you're going in the right direction, isn't it? It's so hard for people.
That's exactly. Yes, exactly. There's lots of people, it depends who you're surrounding yourself with as well. Who are the kind of people that you've got in your life? Are they supporting you? Are they helping you? Or are they dragging you down? You know, and I remember those type of people in my life, and the people that drag you down, you have to basically let go gradually, not fall out with them, but just don't see them as much if they're making you feel a certain way. And I know also that people can't make you feel a certain way. We only make ourselves feel a certain way, but some people do influence how you're feeling. You know, so it's up to us to be strong enough to not let that energy into your energy field. And to maintain your own boundaries in that regard. Exactly. And there will be negative naysayers, as I said, so we have to just send them love in our thoughts and wish them all the best and say and tell them you love them or whatever, you know. So I've had to do that in my life as well. Gradually see people less and less, because I want to be in a feel-good energy in a bubble, and I want good news being told. So this is why I haven't had a TV for 8 years either, or if I put on the radio, you know, I've listened to actually foreign radio stations because I can't understand what they're saying when the news comes on, but the music is good, so you know.
It's an interesting way forward. I like that. That's quite creative of you.
Like you get your digital radio, you might get some really good stations, and then the news comes on and I don't know what they're saying, so it's not influencing me to feel a certain way at all.
Fabulous. That's the first time I've heard of that, but I can completely see that would work. So you're really restricting there, aren't you, that negative stuff that unknowings to yourself kind of brings the vibration down and makes it harder to maintain where you want to be.
Yeah, most definitely.
Brilliant. So what's next for you then? You mentioned another book, and you've also, will you do any more speaking tours or anything?
I did. I was gradually getting on a rollerball of doing, getting on stages, because that's what I was asking for. And that's what I was using all the tools to manifest to myself. And it started off small. And then this big life event came in 2020 and changed a lot of things in the world. Okay. And that put a stop to that. Okay. But after that, there was a few online talks, but it took a bit of time to get back into that practice again, you know. So I do still talk at business events, and I've got a few different talks to talk about. But as I said before, I've met the right people in my life to help me to do what I've wanted to do. So I collaborated with a lovely lady who's a brilliant friend of mine, and she writes children's books. And she's an author for children's books. And because she knew way back then, it was about 5 years ago, that I used to paint children's murals on the bedroom walls, she asked me if I would be the illustrator.
Uh-huh.
Now, the old me would have doubted myself big time, Manda, and said, oh, no, I don't know if I can do that, because you visualise the worst case scenario, that vision that we put in our heads.
Yeah.
And I remember saying, yeah, I can do that. I can draw children's paintings, and it's all about a dog. So I am now the illustrator of 10 children's books, all about this little dog. Okay, we've actually got 12 books so far.
Dog
it's gonna be
happiness.
Yeah,
lovely.
This is the latest one. This is the latest one about Dodger Dog, and they're all positive stories. Ofsted, we read them in schools and libraries. Wow. So they're all Ofsted approved. Positive stories, teaching children from a young age about positivity and all different things throughout life. Okay, so I did that. And then throughout that world event that happened to us in 2020 and 21, I started creating my own art because I loved art.
Yeah.
And I started to create some spiritual art, but involved animals. So that's what I'm collaborating with somebody else who's quite techie. We're collaborating at the moment to do that. So that's my next step. I've got an example.
I was about to say, can we have a little peek?
Yeah. Here's a pillow of a horse. He's a shamanic horse, so he's got all these little shamanic feathers there.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah. And I've done about 8 canvases so far. So we're trying to go ahead with that. But I would love to get back on the stages and give talks to people that are closed-minded. They don't really know about the law of attraction. They need to hear the positive message, and they need to believe in themselves and keep their vibes high. I'd love to speak to people that need that kind of work. So that would be my next thing.
So is that an audience that you've not yet reached out to? Is that completely new?
It seems like
they sound like a difficult audience, maybe.
Yeah, because I do know of teachers who have gone into the positive thinking world with the law of attraction that can't actually get back into the system, back into schools to teach this kind of stuff with our old system.
Yeah.
And I gave a talk, I remember, to a bank. It was online. It was for Visa, okay? And I gave a talk for an hour. I got paid for that talk, but they wouldn't advertise me. They wouldn't give me, they wouldn't give me sort of like tell all the other banks about it, because they said it's not within their preferences. So the guy who was running it, he really liked it, and there was about 60 people there, but it wouldn't get passed on any further because I was talking about open-minded stuff.
Yeah.
I was talking about the law of attraction and universal laws and positivity. So I don't know whether they were ready for this yet, whether I'd got into the wrong channel, but it's certainly the kind of places that do need it. And with my clients as well, I work with females, and I have had quite a few clients that work in banks that are just sort of like on the floor. So
so you're really interested to reach out to those people who are really up against the system and really fed up with it and want to be able to think differently, live their lives differently, and they're very much sort of, what's the word, restricted and almost, I don't know, I just get this feeling of being completely done in by the system, and they're almost desperate. Is that the kind of person that you're? Yeah.
And they're not don't feel too good, don't know why they're mega unhappy, everything's samey, don't realise their power, don't really know how to change that mindset from negative to positive. So that's what happened to me. That's why, because I've been there, seen it, done it, got the t-shirt, worked on myself, went deep, and been able to switch it around. So that's how we need to go forward into the golden age, is to all raise the vibe and know we're going to get there.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's that faith and that knowing, isn't it? And another book, did you say you've got another book coming out?
Yes, I have been writing my diary again since the last book, but I've also come up with a book called, I want to call a high vibe workbook.
Yeah.
Where it's got resources where people can actually do little exercises that's going to help them to move forward, you know, not just listen to my story or my transformation, but after that, oh, here's the resources and here's how you could practice these little tools and techniques, really. So yeah, that's the next idea that I've got.
Yeah, it does feel that those kinds of things that give people a roadmap of some kind is really helpful for that, keeping them on the track, isn't it?
Yeah, the practical side.
Yeah, you can do a lot of work on yourself, a lot of work generally out there in the world to improve things. But if you don't know that you're going in the right direction, it's so much easier to give up and fall off that route. But if you've got some kind of sense that, yes, I'm following a plan, I suppose it's like a diet. It's easier to figure out what you're going to eat to lose the weight if you've got a plan, rather than if you're making it up each and every meal. So that's really helpful then if you're going to produce that.
Yeah, because I mean, they say we've got two sides of our mind. We've got our left logical, we've got our right creative. So it's really important to use both sides of our mind, excuse me, of our brains, by visualizing with the creative, and the logical side by writing things down and actually practicing. It makes it more powerful, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, if you keep on and do practice, you will get there.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So we've got lots coming out from you at some point soonish. Are you going to, I mean, these cushions, are they available now? Can people buy them? The
artwork is on canvas, but it can be digital downloads.
Right.
Okay. Or we can send canvases to people. Now we've stopped doing the pillows because that was just an example, so I don't have to go and drag all the canvases out. I just grab this. Yeah. So we don't do the pillows actually anymore. It's just the artwork, really. But who knows what's going to happen after that, or what we can achieve. So we just have to see how that goes and get ourselves out there. Yeah.
And I'll put your links below this so that anyone who's interested can get hold of you, get hold of, you know, some of your work.
Oh, thank you. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
It's brilliant to spread the word, and I think for a lot of people, having someone like you who's genuinely walked the walk and is now talking the talk is so much more reassuring or helpful, because they can relate to you, can't they? You know, there's many people out there with the same kinds of problems that you were having when you first embarked on this path.
Yes, exactly. It's, as I said before, it's like having the t-shirt, you know, been there, seen it, done it, and tried all different ways. It's like a combination of trying everything, because we all learn in different ways. So it's me trying to be practical and creative at the same time, I suppose.
Wonderful. Yeah. Again, the very right left side brain thing, isn't it? It's just the whole picture. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, Kim, it's been lovely speaking to you today. I'll wish you well with all your projects. It's fantastic to get to know you a bit better, and I really appreciate you coming to talk to me today.
Oh, I'm so grateful that you invited me, Manda. Thank you so much. It's been lovely. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. See you soon.
Grateful.
Bye.
Thank you.